Hello and welcome. This is Exit Light, and this is my podcast. Today my co-host is Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're all okay.
And we are going to be doing this podcast about cryptids. So, for those of you who do not know what cryptids are, this is going to be an interesting evening for you. Basically, what a cryptid is, I'm going to do a full-on definition pretty soon, but it's basically the things that you hear about in folklores, werewolves, the Mothman, things like that. But we're going to go a little farther into cryptids on this podcast than we did on the folklore podcast because we liked doing that one so much, so we decided to go ahead and focus on cryptids and talk about those. If you want to leave a comment in the chat and we don't see it, moderator Maya will notify us if it needs to be addressed immediately. So today we also have moderator Maya and producer Jeremy. And I want to say one thing before we get started. And that is, next week, we will be going to Twitch. And the way to find me on Twitch is twitch.tv/the exit light. It's all one word. And you're going to want to head over there because me, Rob, and Jory, possibly Jeremy, are going to be discussing conspiracy theories. And we're going to do several segments on conspiracy theories. So what we're going to do is a 3-hour max segment. And if it needs to go over into another segment, we'll go over to another segment. But we're going to do some minor-ish conspiracy theories. I don't know if minor is the correct word, but things less conspiracy than, say, 9/11. But then we're going to build up and get up to JFK and 9/11 and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be super interesting. And I think it'll be fun because we're going to have a roundtable discussion. And there's going to be an opportunity for my followers to call in and also discuss conspiracy theories with us. Okay, so what I'm going to do is talk about what a cryptid is. Cryptozoologists may consider any figure from folklore to be a cryptid. It is a noun, an animal, whose existence or survival to the present day is disputed or unsubstantiated. Any animal of interest to a cryptozoologist. So here we go. Ebert's classification. There was a cryptozoologist. His name is George M. Eberhardt. Sorry, I said Ebert. Eberhardt. And these are the rules for being a cryptid. Distribution anomalies. Known animals reported outside their normal range, e.g., the big cats of the UK. Undescribed, unusual, or outside variations of a known species, like a giant anaconda, reported from the Amazonia, or the spotted lions from East Africa. Survivals of recently extinct species. An example is the ivory-billed woodpecker or the Tasmanian tiger. Number 4, survival of species known only from the fossil record into modern times. And I would give you this description of this thing, but I don't know how to pronounce it. It is the Mokele Mbe. I think that's it. Central Africa. Mokele Mbe. If I butchered that, please forgive me. Lingerlings, or survivals of species known from the fossil record much later into historical times than currently thought. Example would be the woolly mammoth. Animals not known from a fossil record, but related to a known species. An example would be the Andean wolf or the striped manta ray. Animals not known from the fossil record or related to any known species. An example would be Bigfoot, which I thought that the Bigfoot was based on. I hate to quote Joe Rogan right here because it pains me to do so, but I could have sworn Jeremy, am I right on that podcast he had with Steven Tyler that he said that Bigfoot was based on Jeremy? Early hominids. Thank you. Seemingly paranormal or supernatural entities with some animal-like characteristics like the Mothman or the black dogs that Rob are going to talk about, or fairies. Fairies are there's a show on Amazon if you have Amazon Prime, and it's called Lore. And if you like folklore and the history behind folklore, you are going to love this show. And every episode examines the folklore of a particular thing like fairies. And I didn't realize that fairies are not fun and cuddly and sparkly. Mythical animals with a zoological basis, such as the griffin, which is inspired by dinosaurs. Known hoaxes or probable misidentifications, such as the jackalope. I had a friend, an adult friend, who thought the jackalope was real. She was heartbroken when she found out that it wasn't. Here are exclusions. These are things that cannot be qualified as a cryptid. Something insignificant. Cryptids must be big, weird, dangerous, or significant to humans in some way, which ironically is the exact same list I put down on Joy's baby book. Lack of controversy. Someone needs to observe a mystery animal and someone else needs to discredit the sighting. Cryptozoologists function as interventionists between witnesses and skeptical scientists. Erratics. The out-of-the-place alligator that turns up in an odd spot, undoubtedly through human agency, is not a zoological mystery. However, if someone discovers a new species of alligator that lives only in sewers, that's a different matter. By the way, Moderator Maya, did you get that joke I made about Jory? High five, Moderator Maya. Sorry about that, Jor. Number 5, angels or demons. The paranormal or supernatural is admitted only if it has an animal shape, like a werewolf. Aliens. Unless such extraterrestrials arrived a long time ago and thus classify as residents. So if you're here from Mars and you've been here for quite a while helping build pyramids, congratulations, you're a resident now. And that is our list of what can be and what cannot be a cryptid. Did you go to sleep, Rob?
No, I've been listening. Very interesting.
Did I bore you to tears?
You did no, that's all. I thought it was very interesting.
Okay. Would you like to say something to start off?
Would I like to say something to start off?
Yes, like before you go into your cryptid, would you like to say anything?
I would like to say that the amount of area that is oceans and water and lakes and rivers and blah 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 on this planet, I think we've only actually discovered 5% of it, what's living in the oceans and in the seas.
Right.
And I do believe that there are lots and lots of different unknown cryptids that are living deep down in the oceans that we haven't found. There's a lot of people think that the megalodon, I think I've said that right, which is the huge shark, exists, and there's been sightings of it, but it just gets dismissed. One thing that I can't understand, why are we not We spend all this money going into space to basically do the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not going and researching our oceans and finding out what the hell is going on down there?
Do you know what I think? Because they have these really strange animals that wash up on the beaches that nobody
Yeah,
knows what they are, and then they go, "Oh, that was a bloated whale." I'm sorry, that had fur. As
yeah.
last I saw, whales didn't have fur, and if they do, what kind of whale has fur? I think it's because if we found that the megalodon lived in the ocean, nobody go into the ocean. Cruise ships would be a thing of the past.
Yeah,
And maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want us to know what's living down there, whoever they is, people who run things.
and do you know that they have made a post? I think we talked about this the other week, and it's something that I can't believe really, but I've actually seen it. They have made a poster advertising all your national parks on countryside areas or forest areas or whatever you call them over there, and it's got all the pictures of all the animals you're likely to see
Mm-hmm.
in certain regions, in certain places, and on certain areas there is a picture of a Sasquatch. Now, it costs something like $22,000 or something to make these pictures. Why would you put on a Sasquatch if
It doesn't
it doesn't
know.
if it doesn't exist?
If I'm likely to see a Sasquatch in that area, I'm probably going to skip that area. That's just me.
Yeah, they put it on a poster though.
Yeah, that's very weird.
So what happens if you
I
get
don't
attacked
know.
by well, they can turn around and say, well, we put it on the poster, so you should have been looking out for it.
That's right. They're just covering all the bases. That way you can't sue them. It was right
Probably
there on the poster. Duh.
wouldn't surprise me what goes on in America. No offense.
Oh, I happen to be American.
Well, after
And
that conversation we had this week, I'm not actually sure.
okay, would you like to
I,
start with your first cryptid?
I would. Okie
Okay.
dokie. For some reason, in the United Kingdom, we seem to have a lot of black dogs and black dog legends and black cats, and I don't know. There's lots and lots of them. But this one is called the black dog, funnily enough. And this is where you need to not laugh, Tracy,
Okay.
because I couldn't
All
get
right.
through this today. If you are
Okay.
feeling poorly, that means not well, by the way, in America, and maybe thinking of having a duvet day or wrapping yourself up in a warm blanket and sipping hot chicken soup, because we know that hot chicken soup makes everything better.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same in America, or is it just in the UK?
Yes. Oh no. Yes. Chicken soup. Cure all.
Jewish penicillin.
That's right.
Yeah. Take a quick look around you, have a look what's going on, and if before you get settled and before you get all snuggled up in your duvet and put your favorite box set on, and you think that's it, I'm all right for the day now. If you see a huge black dog with glowing red eyes, after crapping yourself, you may need to ring your nearest and dearest friends and family, because seeing this huge black dog means that someone is on borrowed time. So you need to warn them. The black dog is an omen of death.
But if you're the one feeling unwell, isn't it likely that it's an omen of your death?
Well, it's supposed to be an omen of someone near and dear to you. But when I was thinking about this yesterday, what happens if you're out with your best friend and he sees a black dog with glowing red eyes? Does it mean that you're in the shit, basically, and you're going to die? And the black dog varies all around. Up in Scotland, it's not a huge black dog. It's just a black dog with the glowing red eyes.
So glowing red eyes is mandatory because I happen to have a huge black dog. And it's the glowing red eyes part that's mandatory for this to be a bad omen, though, right?
So has your dog got glowing red eyes?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Glad I'm talking to you today, Rob.
So that is one of the cryptids that we have in the United Kingdom. Is a huge, huge black dog that is the old death. And I'll hand it over to you. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see your black dog, and I'm going to raise you a black panther, which is most commonly seen in the Appalachian and Ozark Mountains. Now, perhaps the most well-known mystery creature of the region is the Appalachian black panther, an animal that has been reported as far back as the days of the early settlers and continues to be sighted today in both the Appalachians and Ozarks. There are historical examples of dead specimens of these black panthers turning up from time to time. One animal was killed in the 1800s by a settler whose name was Emily Stacy, who shot one with a musket. It tried to get into her house, and therefore I would shoot it too. In 1843, a Sir William Jardine published the Naturalist Library Mammalia, and the cats were described as black cougars. They were supposedly killed in America and displayed in London during the 1700s. Now, the thing is this. The odd thing is that while it's possible that cougars are not currently known, some cats go through a black phase. Some large cats, that was very Texas of me. Some large cats go through a phase where they turn black, and then I guess they go out of it or they stay in it, but it's a phase. Now, cougars are not currently known to exhibit what they call a melanistic phase, and there are cougars in these mountains. But there are two types of big cats known to have a black color phase, and thus they are called black panthers, even though they're not panthers, and those are jaguars and leopards. So a jaguar and a leopard can go through a melanistic phase and become black, and that is probably what is being seen in the Ozarks, even though there shouldn't be any black panthers there. So the Ozark Mountains are a huge space. And I think that people know if they saw a large black cat or not. And so I think it's probably that these are jaguars or leopards. And maybe somebody had them as a pet. They let them go. Or maybe there was like some that were out there and they didn't go extinct and they are meandering out there. And I wouldn't want to meet one in a dark alley. And Mad Meerkat says, I have a black chihuahua. Does that count? Well, yes.
You've got red eyes?
If it has red eyes. Yes. Mine is a black Labrador. Yes.
Tracy, can I just ask you a quick question?
Yes.
For people who are listening in the UK, and for me, where are the Appalachian Mountains in America?
They are in the central eastern part of the United States.
Right, okay. Is that going up towards Alaska, please?
No.
No.
No,
okay.
it would be going towards the East Coast, towards New York. If I was to leave Texas.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I get you now.
right.
Sorry about that to interrupt.
And in all honesty, there are people who live in the Ozarks that are rarely seen by other human beings. Communities that live in the Ozarks and Appalachian Mountains, families and their family that are rarely ever seen. It's a weird, it's an unusual situation, actually.
I've watched
So,
Wrong Turn. I know
huh?
what it's like. I've watched Wrong Turn.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a strange. The whole place is strange and unusual. So, not the whole place. That was a big broad brush, but there are strange things. Left people who after like the slaves were freed, a lot of people went into that area and then they just sort of, I hate to say this, inbred and had families. So I think there's probably a lot of things we don't know about that goes on in the Ozarks and Appalachians. And if you're from there, I'm sorry, but I just said that. It doesn't mean I'm not saying that you are weird. I'm saying that some things are strange. Help me, Rob. Talk about something.
Well, thank you for that.
Oh my gosh.
We're not saying that anybody that lives in the Appalachian Mountains is a cryptid or anything like that.
No.
Or we're obviously, if there are people from that area listening to this podcast, you're obviously very intelligent, and or you wouldn't be listening to the podcast. But we appreciate
Exactly.
we appreciate the fact that you're taking the time out of your day to listen to the podcast.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
There you
Thank you.
go.
Thank you. Thank you.
I live in the UK. I'm all right.
What's your next cryptid?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that this was given to me by Tracy, and it's about a German cryptid. And I'm going to get all the names wrong, and I really, really apologise if anybody's German. Just blame Tracy because she asked me to do this, and
It's true, I did.
I'm going to murder these pronunciations. But anyway, here we go. This cryptid is from Germany. It is called. Here we go. Elwen. Oh,
I think the
Elwen.
W is pronounced with a V in German, right?
El Elvenderistis. That's
It's
pretty much what
called
it says.
El Elveristic. I don't know. I
For
chose
this,
it because it's beautiful.
I we'll just call it L for now. Just we'll
Okay.
shorten it down.
Yeah.
Anyway, this beautiful cryptid lives in Germany, sort of central to um, the north part of Germany, and basically it is a chicken-like creature with antlers, and it has scales instead of feathers. However, there's always a however.
Mm-hmm.
It's said that their wings are of little use. That is why they mainly live in the underbrush and under vines. Sometimes they are depicted with the antlers of a stag, and their beaks often appear to be very long. In the second half of the 20th century, artists painted these animals or these cryptids as female by adding they, painted, they painted breasts on them to depict that they are female. and they reckon, oh, that's very English, they reckon, they think that it is caused by this creature come about because crossbreeding a chicken with a duck and a goose with a mythical wood creature with mythical wood creatures such as goblins and elves. They naturally lay eggs. How can you say that naturally lay eggs after that load of crap? They naturally lay eggs. I'll have half a dozen. And they are descending from forest spirits. They grow during breeding season. Eggs are in various sizes. Oh, and that's pretty much it. And
It is beautiful, though, don't you think?
it's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. I do believe it is my favorite cryptid. I don't think I'd be afraid of it if I saw it.
You wouldn't be afraid of a chicken with breasts and a huge. You wouldn't. I think maybe it's going towards the gargoyle type things that were put on churches and places like that to ward off evil spirits. Because if an evil spirit saw this, I think it'd shit itself and go away. To be quite honest with you.
But it wears its hair in braids and it has big duck lips. I don't know. I find her to be very beautiful.
Okay.
All right. I am going to talk about something that I can't pronounce too.
Oh, good.
And it's folklore from Georgia. It is called the Altamaha, or Alti for short. And it is a legendary creature alleged to inhabit small streams, abandoned rice fields near the Altamaha River, after which it is named, clearly. Sightings are particularly reported around Darien in McIntosh County, and what it looks like is a dinosaur without legs, but with front fins. And it's similar to the Loch Ness Monster.
Plesiosaur.
And it is really cute. I don't think I'd be afraid if I saw this either. But the problem with this is that they say that it's probably not anything like the Loch Ness Monster. It's probably been an alligator gar that people are seeing. Rob, have you ever seen an alligator gar?
I have, yes, I have. They are absolutely hanging looking. They are the most. They are very. They don't win any prizes on looks.
No, they do not. And they are in lakes and rivers in Texas a lot. And that's why you won't find me in one.
You get quite big, don't they?
Huge. Very, very large.
And they have that fin, don't they, on the front? Is that the one?
Yeah.
They have that thing on the front.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that it could have been a cute Loch Ness monster-y type thing, but it's probably a hideous alligator gar.
So how has it got? Why do people think that it's the other thing? If it's just an alligator gar?
I think that maybe people see something like swim up and like sort of put the hump of its back up, like the top to the top of the water. And so they equate it to seeing something like a Loch Ness monster. And they don't immediately go to scary alligator gar. But if it's in a stream, I mean, I don't know many streams big enough to hold a Loch Ness monster. So, I mean,
Yeah.
stay out of them. Just stay out. Don't do it.
Well, your lakes. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. Is it Lake Michigan?
Yes.
It looks like the Bleeding Sea.
Yeah. It looks like the
An
sea.
ocean.
Yeah, it does.
I can't even imagine that.
Now hold on a second. Hey, Jeremy, you lived by Lake Michigan, right? Yeah, Jeremy used to live 5 minutes away from Lake Michigan, and it does. It looks like the sea. It's so huge. It's so massive that it looks like an ocean.
They've had a lot of UFO sightings around there, haven't they, as well?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm. Um. By the way, Jory is in the chat. Hi, Jor. You missed that I joked about you. Sorry. Okay, do you have another cryptid you'd like to tell us about?
I certainly do. This is another one that you found hilarious. It's called a gwibber. Gwibbers,
Yes. Gwibber.
which are basically snakes with wings, which for some reason Tracy found hilarious. Maybe it's an American thing, I don't know. But anyway,
It could be.
they are most often found in Wales, which is not obviously we've got England, Wales, and Scotland. They're all separate countries, but it's all under the United Kingdom. So they're in Wales, and sometimes they've been spotted in the UK. Now, I don't know if there's anybody from Wales listening tonight, but I've lived in Wales, and it doesn't surprise me, to be quite honest with you. So they're mostly found in Wales and in the UK, but occasionally they pop up in England. Descriptions of the creature differ from place to place. In southeast England, they are more often described as small, beautiful, feathered farm pests. PEST. Small. I don't know how you can call something small, beautiful, and feathered and then call it a pest. But I did check today, and that is basically what they think it's a pest. I don't know what they're thinking. And in some parts of the UK, they are said to be giant, huge snakes with wings, which would be really, really scary.
That would be
I,
very scary.
from what you were saying yesterday, do you have snakes with wings in America?
I do not believe so. No.
Okay. I just wondered.
No, I don't believe we do. What
But
did you say something, Jeremy? Oh, oh. Jeremy said it's called Air Force One.
oh dear me. We're not doing this conspiracy one until next week.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with snakes with wings. Well, it sort of does. We had flooding here a few years ago, and something was hitting my window where I live, hitting the window over and over. I told the kids I thought that somebody was throwing rocks at the window. And I gave them a grand plan where they would each run out the front door and around the place and then meet up in the middle, and they should scare whoever was throwing rocks at the door.
Like in the film Signs.
That's where I got the plan. That's where I got the idea. That I thought, see, people were like, that was brilliant. Now they're like, oh, okay, she saw that. So yes, that was the plan. So they went outside. They didn't follow through with that plan. They just went outside and pretended they did. And A little while later, something is hitting the door. So I opened my slider, and at the time, I had a 4.5 pound Chihuahua. She walked back onto my patio, and I saw that she nudged something with her nose. And I called her in really quick because this thing was the size of my hand. It had wings. It had pinchers in the front of it. And if you look up Texas lake bug, you will see a video on YouTube of one eating a fish. That's how big they are. They live in the lake I live on, and they eat turtles and snakes. These are bugs, flying bugs that look like pterodactyls. And I sprayed this bug the size of my hand with Raid and bug spray. It crawled off my patio, and then I closed my door, and it came back furious with me and kept trying to fly into my face through the glass door. And I think that's why we don't have snakes with wings, because something like that eats them. That was scary.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? That's where I
That is
live. I live where stuff like that comes back with a vengeance. Yeah.
crazy.
I could have hit it with a baseball bat. It would have dented my bat. Okay, moving on to Bear Lake Monster in Idaho. Now, this is at the corner of Idaho and okay, just went right out of my head. Utah, thank you. The corner of Idaho and Utah. And this was described as a cross between a walrus and a large reptile like a crocodile. It supposedly swims in this lake and will breach the water with its head. A Mormon colonizer, whose name was Joseph C. Rich, published a series of articles in the Desert Evening News claiming that locals had been seeing this in the lake. And it brought a bunch of tourists to come see it. So I don't know why. I can't understand that, but they wanted to see this huge crocodile-like walrus monster come out of their lake at them. In 2002, sightings of this thing started again. And there was a business owner. His name was Brian Hershey. And he reported that he saw 2 humps come out of the water, just above the water, and then disappear. Then he said that he felt his boat being hit and this monster trying to capsize his boat. And then it came out of the water right next to his boat, like flung itself out, and he came eye to eye with the creature that he described as having dark green, slimy skin and beet red eyes. And people started coming again to see if they could see this monster in the lake. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to have this fly out of me in a boat, or to tip my boat over and run into this crocodile, slimy, dark skin. What's with the bee red eyes thing?
I don't know. Seems to be a common thing with everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Even with, like, if you go into werewolves or vampires.
Yeah. If there's anything in that.
I don't know.
So has anybody got any footage of this
No, nobody has any footage of it. But they say it's good for business.
Yeah. Because you've
I
got
don't know.
one, Lake,
What?
is it Lake Champlain or something?
Yes, yes. Lake Champagne. That is the. They also have what they call Champ, and
Yeah,
that
that's
is
it.
similar. Yeah, that's similar. It's similar, the exact same actually, as the Altamaha, which I talked about earlier, that they said is an alligator gar. But
Yeah,
Lake Champlain is much bigger and could support a Loch Ness monster type of thing.
yeah,
I think the moral of the story is just stay out of the water.
yeah,
I actually don't like swimming in water or lakes or anything like that. And ever since, if you have you seen that show River Monster?
yeah.
Okay, I mean, come on, people still go in rivers? No.
Is that the one with the English guy?
Um, yeah, it's the one with the English guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Cornwall, then.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's actually from down here.
He finds a lot of nasty things in rivers.
Yeah, he's not scared of anything, is he?
No, he's not. He should be. I feel like he should be. Ugh.
The
All
girls love
right.
what. Well,
They like that your girls watch that
yeah, they love it.
and they want to get into a river?
And Grace would, but I don't think Keisha would.
I'll stay with Keisha because I'm not getting into it.
That would mean Keisha having to leave the house, which she doesn't really like doing. But
I understand that. There's people out there.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Loads of
Can be
mad people.
scary. Could be scarier than monsters sometimes.
My next one is quite sort of similar to the Alti one, but from the UK point of view.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
Right. Excuse me. Okie dokie. The Alfanc, AFANC. This is from Wales as well,
Okay.
and it's a legend that goes back to Roman times. It's basically a lake or river monster. Some say it's a large alligator-looking thing living in our lakes and rivers. So your one before mentioned alligator.
Right.
I don't think that it's warm enough definitely not in Wales. It's not warm enough to support any type of alligator crocodile. So it would
Right.
have to be um, a completely different species of crocodile if it was real. If someone managed to find one. Um, through the years, people have put it down to misidentification, and they believe could have been actually what people were actually seeing was a freshwater pike, which can grow probably about 4 or 5 foot.
Yeah.
And they have needle-like teeth, and they are
Yeah.
very similar to a fish called a barracuda in the
Right.
oceans. Now, where I grew up, we had what's called do you know what a canal is?
Yes.
Yeah, like a river, but it's man-made.
Yeah.
And we used to get people fishing on that all the time. And I've used to see them pull out some. There was like legends and folklore and things about this one pike that was huge, so like 6 foot and oh, I don't know, 1,000 pounds or something.
Mm.
People used to go on there to try and fish for this pike and try and get it, and it used to just bite through the lines.
Oh my
People who did
gosh.
it. And someone caught one day. I don't think it was a one, but it was massive. It took about 3 of them to get it out onto the bank. And you should have seen the teeth on this thing. It'd take your bleeding leg off.
Really?
Really, really ugly, nasty. But have you seen the river monster? Have you seen the tiger fish?
No.
It's got jaws like a bleeding tiger. It's got teeth. His teeth are bigger than his head.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's like a pit bull with a tail, with a fish body.
Oh, it's called a tigerfish?
Tiger fish. Yeah, you'll have to have a look after. It is terrifying. And he went. They live in Africa, and he went with
Oh,
these African guys, and these African guys were just getting in the water,
I'm looking at
and
one
then
right now.
I mean they're about 3 or 4 foot long,
Oh my gosh.
really, really heavy. They're just basically all muscle. And when the jaws close, it's like clunk, 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 clunk.
Oh,
Right, honestly, have a look it up after, and
I'm looking it up right now. I can see it.
it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. No. Oh, what is the purpose of that? That looks prehistoric.
Yeah, doesn't look real, does it?
No. No, it looks like it should have been extinct with the dinosaurs.
I mean, a fish like this being like the alligator gar,
Yeah,
I think that a lot of these things are being misidentified. But there is a
right.
lot of identification. People are seeing, maybe not the locals, but from watching that River Monsters, it's surprising how many people go missing
Yeah,
on the water. Because the water is their life, isn't it? They fish
yeah.
basically, feed themselves and their families. So
Yes, that's
they have
right.
so that and, there's people going missing and they're never believing seen of again. It's crazy, crazy. They're so brave, these African guys. To just
Oh, no kidding.
anyway, sort of
Well,
went off track. But
I'm looking at if on YouTube is a video of the world's biggest alligator gar, and it's got to be 15, 16 feet long.
it's just crazy.
Why? And I I don't understand what the point of it is. I mean, my goodness. And I could see how that could easily be seen as a sea monster if you were, in a lake or something. And you could
Yeah,
see that if 16 feet long, it would come out like put a hump up and then put a hump up. That could easily be, I could imagine thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lake monster. It is a
yeah,
lake monster.
yeah.
Do these types of fish, do they bite humans? Do they eat?
But I don't think the alligator guard does. I think it basically spends most of its time on the bottom,
Oh.
just sort of mooching about on the bottom. But what? What's wrong? What?
Mooching about. I don't. Some of the things you say, the way you say them, they make me totally laugh. Because if we said mooching here, mooching would be like living off somebody. Like you're a mooch.
All right, I'm
So
just sort of sneaking around.
yeah. So when I hear mooching about on the bottom, he's like, "Hey, can I have a cigarette?" You know.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I'm used to it now. I'm used to ridicule.
Now I remember you cracking up laughing because I said something was so British, and you thought that was so funny. You said to me that was the most idiot thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Okay. It's all right.
That made me feel good. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna do one for Jory right now.
Okay.
All right, are you still here, Jor? Anybody know if Jory's still here or not? Maya,
Just
can
a bit.
you give me a... Oh, my goodness. All right, well, this one's for Jory. Okay, this is called The Beast of Bray Road, and the reason that it's for Jory is that it's his last name. So here we go. Jory, when you listen back later, this is about you. This is a creature first reported in 1936 on a rural road outside of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It has also been recorded in southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Bray Road is a quiet rural road near the community of Elkhorn. They began to see a whole bunch of sightings in the late 1980s and early 1990s, which is pretty late to start seeing cryptids. Usually the history goes way back, settler kind of days. It said that there was a reporter assigned to the story and that she was very, skeptical about what people were saying they saw, except she came face to face with one and she wrote a book about it called The Beast of Bray Road, Wisconsin's Werewolf.
Yeah.
Now I love this. This is right up my alley, or road. The Beast of Bray Road is described by witnesses as a bear-like creature, as being hairy and a biped resembling a Bigfoot. When it's on all 4 feet, it's about 2 to 4 feet tall, but when it stands on its back legs, it's 7 feet tall standing up. It has reasoning and intelligence. It's a wolf-like creature, and it weighs between 400 and 700 pounds. And it's said that its fur is a brownish gray coloring. So Jory is 6 foot, 2 or 3. It could be him. It could be. You just don't know. So some people say that it was a hoax, and then there was a huge mass hysteria about it, which it feels to me like if a whole bunch of people saw it between the 1980s and 1990s. I mean, I think they must have been seeing something, and that the reporter said she came face to face with it. They also, I guess, called it the Michigan Dogman. There are photographs and film evidence of this werewolf, and there are no known sightings that link this particular sighting to other states around it. And that is cool. I want to see the werewolf. That would be scary. What else could it be?
You believe in werewolves?
Well, no, but if I saw one of these, I might. Some people say that it could be a wolf dog or a coy dog, I suppose, which is a coyote dog. But they don't stand 7 feet tall, for crying out loud.
Could it be a bear?
It could be a bear. I suppose it could be a bear, but the problem is it says that it says it's a bear-like creature, but the thing that is creepiest to me is that they say it has an intelligence and like a reasoning. So I don't want anything to have no large animal should have any form of reasoning or intelligence, because then we're in trouble. That's when they start ganging up on us.
Sorry.
like small creatures, like bunnies. I don't care if they have some reasoning. They can't do much damage, but bear-like creatures, nah. It's hunting season. Not. Would you not agree?
Well, yeah, but the Beast of Bray Road, isn't there
Yeah.
other sort of cryptid legends things about this stretch of road? Because I'm sure I watched a program. I think it was at Haunted Highways with Jack Osborne.
Uh-huh.
They did uh it was one of the locations that they used, and they put cameras all around the car, on the
Yeah.
outside of the car, inside the car, and they were driving along the road, and
Okay.
they filmed a man. It looked like a man stood at the side of the road. Now he was there. We could see him. So it was the middle of the night. We spun the car around and went back, and this man had vanished. They checked everywhere. They had high-powered torches. They looked. That was along that stretch of road. This is in the middle of sort of nowhere, isn't it?
I have no idea. I
And
just looked it up. I'm looking up. Let me see if I can find an image of it. Let me see if I can find an image of it so I can tell you if it's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it it does look like there isn't much around it. Yeah, it looks like a pretty long stretch of road.
yeah, because the lady that um, wrote the book, she was in a car, wasn't she? And
Yes.
she was pulling out. She was on a side road. She was pulling out onto Bray Road, and as she pulled out, it ran across the road in front of her. If I'm not mistaken, and she didn't believe in it at first,
All right.
and then she nearly hit it with a car,
She should have.
and it ran off and got away. Um, then she wrote the book about it. She did loads of research and she spoke to loads of people and got loads of evidence. And she then wrote the book. But on that Haunted Highways with Jack Osborne, they spoke
Uh,
to lots of people, and everybody that had seen it seemed pretty genuine. The stories all matched up, and they didn't know each other. So I think there is something there.
yeah, I do too. I do too. I don't believe in the mass hysteria explanation for most things. But yeah, I think there has to be something, but I don't know what it would be. I don't know. I don't like that it has intelligence and reasoning though. And it's weird though, isn't it, that it's only seen here? Like it's a lot of the stuff we talk about is seen in other places as well. But when the cryptids are specific to one spot, that makes me, for some reason, that makes me feel like even more like it's true, because, well, I don't know why. It should be the exact opposite, but I feel like if a lot of people in the same spot are seeing the same thing, that there's must be some truth to it.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't. That's scary. I don't. I. I would love to see it. I would love to be in a car and see this. Love to,
yeah,
but it is scary.
I think they'll prove it one day. They will get evidence.
Well,
There's too
perhaps
many
they'll come
people.
upon a body or something,
Mm,
a carcass or something. Maybe they could find something like that. People actually walk down the road looking for it. What is wrong with you?
yeah,
I don't
we
think you
take
go looking for the boogeyman. in my personal opinion. Well, not like this. Not when it can rip you to shreds.
Yeah, it's some people are just asking for it, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Crazy.
Do you have another cryptid?
Yeah, it's very similar actually.
Oh, good, because I'm doing one after this is also werewolfy.
Right, this is called the Nandi bear. Remember?
Yes.
Now
It's hard
this
to be
is
afraid of something called the Namdi bear.
it's very nice, this one,
Is
and
it?
it's from Kenya in Africa. And basically, most descriptions of the Nandi bear say that the animal is really cute and furry and cuddly with a
Oh.
big wet nose, and sometimes it's at least as big as a man with 4 limbs and a sloping back covered in fur. The creature is sometimes seen standing up on its hind limbs, but it likes to run on all 4 legs. Now, attacks attributed to the Nandi bear are usually extremely, extremely violent in nature, and the creature is said to have a taste for human brains,
Oh.
often scalping its victims and cracking open their skulls as if it were an eggshell. Occasional witnesses attribute its feats of it's basically like an athlete, a gymnast. Basically, it can get away by swinging through the trees and all sorts of malarkey. And it
I
is sorry.
I feel like that takes away from its cuteness a little bit.
Yeah, it would do. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
is it asking you around for a cup of tea and a piece of cake, or is it asking you around to split your head open and eat your brains? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of those. It's one of those things you don't know. It'd be like having Hannibal Lecter around for dinner.
Yeah.
Am I serving you dinner or am I dinner? You know.
Exactly. Exactly. Or am I serving you dinner?
Now, it's supposedly seen in other parts of Africa, and it's also seen in parts of Asia as well. And a lot of the American GIs coming back from the Vietnam War seen were said to have seen something very, very similar in the jungles
Really?
in Vietnam. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. And um, I
Huh.
don't think they were that scared really, because obviously if you've got an M16 rifle with you, it's probably,
Right.
they're not probably going to
Oh.
bother you too much. But
That was
yeah, it's been
probably the
seen.
least of their problems.
Yeah, it's been seen all over. But it's native to Kenya, which Kenya is quite central, I think, if I remember my
Uh-huh.
geography. So
Wow. I'm looking at pictures of it right now.
it's a handsome bugger.
Yeah, it sure is. I want the one that asks for cake and tea, please.
But
Okay.
it's also been. Some people think that it's a giant. It could have been a giant baboon
Oh,
and been mixed up with a giant baboon. But baboons do eat meat, don't they?
yes.
So, but
Some of the pictures kind of look like a dingo.
what about a giant hyena? Because some people have said it could look like it could be a giant hyena.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking it is, a giant hyena.
Mm.
Huh.
But I think a lot of these are linked to the Bigfoot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
obviously
Maybe this is that particular part of the world's um type of a Bigfoot.
because if you think where Africa is, you've got obviously Africa and all of Europe, and then you go into Russia and then into
Hmm.
Asia. It
Mm-hmm.
then in Russia they've got what they call the Yeti, which I think
Yeah.
it's just Bigfoot with a different name.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And in Asia they have a Bigfoot with a different name. I can't
Yeah.
pull it up in my head right now.
Oh, it's gonna bug me all night now. Can't remember
Oh,
what it's called.
what? Oh, I'm trying to. Maya, can you look up different names for Bigfoots? Because I have it right on my tip of my tongue. It's not the Sasquatch. Yeah,
That's good.
he said Yeti. I
Um,
can't think of what it's called.
Skunk ape is American, isn't it?
A skunk ape is from down south. Yeah,
Yeah.
like what? Like Florida maybe, or is it Louisiana? Louisiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find that another name. A what? Yowie?
Yowie. No, that's
Yep.
Australia.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, you're right. That's Australia. I don't
Does
know.
anybody in the chat know?
I'll have. I'm not in the chat right now, so if anybody in the chat knows, go ahead and let me know, and Rob know. Maya will tell us. Okay, I'm gonna do the loup garou, which is a mythical creature in French, Canadian, and Louisiana folklore. It is basically the same thing as a rougarou. The word loup-garou is derived from the French, and loup being the Latin lupine. It means wolf and man. So, a werewolf. The belief in loup-garous is especially strong among French Canadians and Cajun people of Louisiana. According to Cajun legend, the loup-garous wander around the forest and the swamps of the greater New Orleans and Acadiana. These creatures have a man's body, a wolf's head, very similar to the legends regarding werewolves. Stories in Cajun folklore about the loup-garou have mostly been used to scare children into behaving, which is funny because a lot of folklore stuff is used to scare children. As a side note, the loup-garous were believed to. This is going to be bad for you, Rob. They're
What?
believed to hunt and kill Catholics who are not observing Lent and abiding by its rules. So I hope you're doing that.
Yeah.
Um, and so that means it goes on a killing spree for 40 days, killing bad Catholics, which is unfortunate. The way you can become a loup-garou is that French Catholics believe that a person will transform into a loup-garou or a rougarou if he breaks the rules of Lent for 7 consecutive years. Then you're damned to be a loup-garou. According to some other beliefs, somebody can put a spell on you that makes you a loup-garou, and that curse will last for 101 days. Also, if you ever eat human flesh, you can become a loup-garou. And I try to never do that. And you can choose to become a loup-garou. This myth actually dates back to the 16th century. And people started to believe in the loup-garou curse, and they started to believe that it was genetic, so it was passed down in families. The myth, that particular myth, also involved being cursed. So once, like, the father in the family was cursed, and it was always passed down through the family, and they could not get rid of the curse. It said that they would see someone whose body would enlarge, they would get hairy, and they would start craving raw meat. And by the time the transformation process was over, they were eating human flesh.
Sounds like Hannibal
So,
Lecter again.
yeah, I know. Now, Cajuns and they have a lot of folklore that they truly believe in and hang on to, and they're an interesting bunch. I love going to New Orleans. I'm part Creole, so my heart is in New Orleans, and I love to listen to Cajuns speak because they speak with a French. They speak French with a combination of English that can be hard to understand. The way they hold their mouth is completely different than anybody else in the United States. The way they talk, it's their mouth is like, it's almost like they're rounding. The, if you, like I always say, if you had to hold your mouth full of rocks and put your mouth in that kind of a position, then took the rocks out and then had to speak like that, the Cajun tongue sort of rolls off that way, and I just love it. I love them and all their little quirks and all their
But
folklore,
I
and
bet, I bet you loved Interview with a Vampire, didn't you?
loved it. Loved it. I've been to the cemetery that they filmed in. I've been to almost all the filming sites in New Orleans. I loved it. I loved it. That yeah, that was that was I really didn't have anything. I really didn't wasn't in that excited about vampires or anything until Anne Rice wrote an interview with a vampire, and I loved
Yeah.
it. It was what made me want to go to New Orleans. I knew then I had to go see New Orleans, and it did not let me down. It is awesome.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Hmm.
You say you love New Orleans and everything, and how do you feel about voodoo and hoodoo? Do you
I
believe
will.
that?
I believe. Okay. I well, down in the French Quarter, they have several voodoo shops, and then they believe they practice Santeria. Um, I will not go into a voodoo shop. I refuse. I won't do it. Um, when we went, I went. I've been several times. I will not go into a voodoo shop. Moderator Maya talked her dad into letting her go into a voodoo shop when I wasn't with them once, and she said that she instantaneously had a dark, bad feeling there was somebody in there to buy a curse. And she said that it was immediately dark and scary to her. I don't know if I believe in voodoo per se, but I believe that people do believe in voodoo and that can give it strength.
Yeah,
So um I stay far away from that.
yeah, that's what I think as well.
So yeah. But
Just
that's not all of New Orleans. That's not all of Louisiana. That's a very, there are people who practice. I'm not going to say there's not. And there are several voodoo shops in the quarter, but that's not all of what it is. They have a huge art district in the French Quarter that I love. And
Are people friendly?
oh, Rob, they are the most friendly people I have ever met in my entire life. You are automatically sweetie, sweetheart, honey, baby girl. I don't care how old you are, you're baby girl. And they're so kind and so warm that it was interesting because we were traveling once through Louisiana to Mississippi. And all we did was stop at a gas station in Louisiana on that particular trip. And that was 2 years ago. And just the difference. And I would have been able to tell you I was in Louisiana if I didn't know, because we walked in and we were automatically greeted, you know, hello sweetie, hello sweetheart, and they just talk to you. And we were on a trip and we were in Austin once, and we were at a gas station, and a truck driver was in there, and he had mentioned that he was traveling somewhere in Texas from Louisiana. And I said, oh my God, I love Louisiana. My heart belongs in Louisiana. And he said, baby girl, if you ever come to Louisiana, you look me up and you can come and we'll have a crawfish boil. Gave me his address and everything. That's the kind of
Wow.
people they are. Yeah. And I would trust 100% that I could call him and say, hey, remember you met me in a gas station? And he would say, come on over. 100%. I wouldn't worry me at all. Not one bit.
How do you think they take to English people and English kids and that?
I think they would love it. It's full of love. They're hard workers. They've been through a lot. They survive, and they survive by helping each other, and it's really one of the best the best community I've ever experienced.
Wow.
So that is some real Southern hospitality there for you, and I love it. I left a bag in a store that had a whole bunch of stuff of that we had bought for gifts and stuff to take home. And I left the bag there, and I thought, oh, well, there you go. It's gone. I went back to the store, and the woman was like, oh, sweetie. Maya went back. I had it behind the counter, and don't you worry, darling. And it was really
That's really
nice.
nice.
Yeah, it was really great. So, yeah, you come down. We'll go to New Orleans.
Okay.
All right. Do you have another one?
Well, what I wanted to do, I've got this stuff that I got today for the British Bigfoot sightings, but
Okay.
you've got a couple left, haven't you?
I
You've got a couple
have
left.
I have a couple left, but I can leave off something easily.
No, I just wanted to, if it's all right with you, I've got a few here that I just wanted to briefly go through. If just wondered if anyone has heard of them, and maybe
Okay.
if anyone's interested in any of them, they can look them up a little bit more, at their
Um
leisure, if that's
Mad
okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And Mad Meerkat says, could it be the Wendigo?
Hmm.
It is what is he talking about, the Himalayan Bigfoot? Mad
Could be.
Meerkat? Are you talking about the Himalayan Bigfoot? Anyway, okay. While I'm waiting for him, go ahead and talk about a couple. Can I just say one more thing? I can't skip one and say this one more thing. There is another swamp monster that is thought of to be a Louisiana Bigfoot, and they call that the Honey Island swamp monster.
On the island, they made a film about it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be a biped ape-like creature that's said to live in the swamps in Louisiana and weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, be about 7 feet tall. The weird thing about this is that they think it's a ape and an alligator hybrid. Apparently, and I'm just gonna give you this quick rundown. Apparently, there was a circus train going through town, and it crashed, and all the chimpanzees escaped from the wreckage. And the folklore is that they began to interbreed with the alligator population, creating what they now see as the Honey Island swamp monster. And they do have footprints of this thing that sort of look like a cross between a chimpanzee and an alligator's foot.
Wow.
So that is another type of Bigfoot that they believe they have there, with the added twist of it being part alligator.
I wouldn't want to meet that on a dark night.
No, I think I'll stay away from Honey Island for sure. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This is just a rundown of some that I found today. If you know Gloucestershire, which is down in the sort of southeast area near Bristol, there's the Forest of Dean, which is quite a big forest. It's a very, very nice forest as well, as forests go. And there is a beast, the beast of the Dean, which is called a moose pig. And it's reported to live. Sorry?
Oh.
A moose pig.
A moose pig.
It's said to resemble an absolutely huge wild boar. And this sort of cryptid legend, this legend goes back to about 1802, I think it was the first time it was seen. And this is running through the Forest of Dean, and it will attack people, and can do them a lot of damage because of the big horns on the front, like wild boar have. But this is sort of the size of sort of two men. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And if you can put in, I've got a little picture of him here.
Okay.
The Beast of Dean. I don't know if you'll be able to put that up for people to see.
Is it Dean? Dean?
Yeah, Dean.
Okay. Jeremy, can you do that? Can you put in the Beast of Dean? Yeah, he's going to try and get a picture of it. Oh, wow.
Handsome bugger, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's adorable. I want one.
You want one?
Yeah, he's so cute. No, I'll pass.
They had a big hunting party that went out to try and find it, and they tried to capture it, but they found nothing at the time, and it's still supposed to be roaming the forest now. So that was one, if anyone's heard of him. And this one I think that Tracy will like is Croglin Grange, which is it's in Cumberland in England.
How do you spell it? I'll look it up.
Croglin, Grange.
Okay.
It's the vampire of Croglin Grange.
Oh. Ooh. Wow.
Now, from what I read today, it's got different names, like Bernie the Vampire. I'm wondering, it was sort of 1890s, it first sort of came about, it was wrote about. And I'm wondering if it could have anything to do with Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I was
If it
going to
was,
say that it looks very similar to Nosferatu, which is,
yeah, if
I
it was like
wonder.
a precursor to um,
Yeah.
the Bram Stoker one.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But yeah, it's just if anyone's heard of him, then I just thought it might be nice just to bring him up, dig him up.
He's dig him up. Ooh, some people say that they think he could have been Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, that's a bit
Uh,
far fetched.
yeah. Oh, very interesting. I like this one.
Oh, excuse me. Right, so do you want to do one of yours, and then I'm going to do my Bigfoot one?
Okay. I'm gonna do the Legend of the Goat Man because this seems to me to be sort of a universal folklore cryptid legend throughout the United States. Where I live, we have our own Goatman Bridge. Usually, the tale of Goatman has something to do with a bridge or a road. It's usually, obviously, a half goat, half man kind of a thing. They are usually wielding some kind of a weapon like an axe. They are said to live under bridges so that if you're out at night and you stop your car on these particular bridges, that you can be attacked or see the goat man. We actually went out to our goat man bridge and stopped our car and got out of it. Well, some of us got out of it. Some of us were afraid. Me and Maya took a minute to get out. She took some prodding. Moderator Maya was a little leery of the Goatman Bridge, but uh, as a matter of fact, Maya, did you ever get out at the Goatman Bridge? Okay, yes, she says. Um, we went and we looked under the bridge, and the scariest thing we saw was a guy with a really jacked up high truck with huge tires who stopped and asked us if we were looking for the goat man. So that was a little embarrassing. And we told him, yeah, we told him we were. But they they are seen in Maryland and a lot on the East Coast. That this goat man. I think it's interesting that it was popularized in 1971, so it's sort of a more modern type of a story. I think that it's one of those folklores that are meant to keep teenagers from parking their cars, because they could be attacked by the goat man if you're parked near a bridge. And I think so because it also, some of the folklore says that it attacks people who go to Lover's Lane. So I think that's another one of those folklore meant to scare kids into behaving correctly. But it's universally used in the United States that there is a goat man. And we unfortunately did not see it. But I thought I would talk about it because so many places in the United States have a goat man's bridge or a goat man's road, or, you know, there's a lot of goat men in this country. Something's
I
wrong with
get
these farmers.
I get confused with this goat man because you've got the goat man and
Yeah.
you've got the moth man,
Yeah.
and and then they made the film, the Jeepers Creepers film. Is the goat
Yes.
man and the moth man sort of a mixture of that Jeepers Creepers character?
I think that the the Jeepers Creepers was a combination between the Mothman and Jeremy, do you remember what other one we said we thought it was a combination of? I can't remember what it was. But it might have been Goat Man. It seems like whatever we talked about in the last podcast, one of those was the inspiration for the Jeepers Creepers. But I cannot pull it up what it was that we were talking about. But Mothman for sure is one of the inspirations because of how it's, the pictures people have and whatnot is very much resembles the Jeepers Creepers. And the last one that I wanted to talk about was the one that happened a couple of days ago in Montana. So I, of course, can't find it. Oh, wait, I got it. I lied. It happened in Denver. So a couple days ago in Denver, it was May 25th, actually, so 5 days ago, there was an unidentified wolf-like creature found. And it really looks to me sort of like a chupacabra. It looks like a chupacabra. So here goes. Here's the story. A central Montana rancher shot a wolf-like animal after it was spotted in a pasture with its livestock. But a closer look prompted state and wildlife officials to take DNA samples to determine what type of animal this is. Fish, Wildlife and Parks regional spokesman said that the animal's front claws and canine teeth are too short and its ears too tall in proportion to its skull to be a wolf. The animal was shot on May 16th near the town of Denton. And they're waiting for DNA tests to come back so that they can identify what this is. They said they've never seen it before, and it was shot because it was coming close, not just to the farm animals, but to the their own domestic dogs and their children. So that was, in the last couple weeks, a real cryptid that we have to find out through DNA what it is.
Wow. I've not heard anything on the news or anything.
Yeah, I was researching cryptids, and suddenly on my news feed, of course, because they spy on you, came up this story, and it was from the Associated Press. So that is very interesting. To me, it looks like exactly like how they described that chupacabras look. So it'll be interesting to come back and see what they say it is. And it looks kind of mangy, and its teeth are really, really sharp. Really sharp. They figure it's some kind of a dog kind of a deal, which you can clearly see that it is, but I don't know. Maybe there's a chupacabra. Maybe we're getting a chupacabra finally. Yay. Pretty excited.
The chupacabra.
Because I was really disappointed when we did folklore and we found out there was no such thing.
It might be.
And this could be it, Rob.
Yeah.
And I think that is all I have for cryptids.
Well, this is what I wanted to do. I have printed off a load of stuff here, and I just want the people who are listening in and you to give me your opinion on what I have found out today on the last couple of days. This is all really new. It's not from years ago. It's maybe 5 or 6 years ago. That's as far back as it goes. Okay. There is a new. Yeah.
Rob, can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, of course can.
Mad Meerkat says that the Wendigo is a creature from the Atlantic coast in Algonquin mythology. It looks very like a very tall, hairy human with yellow fangs. It's cursed because of its love of cannibalism. So he was talking about the werewolf creatures, and I actually went and saw a picture of the Wendigo, and it is scary looking. Yeah, it looks like a werewolf creature, but like very thin and I don't. I'm gonna be with Keisha. I'm gonna stay in the house. Also, I'd like to say hi to ASMR Gold. Hello, welcome. Okay, so go ahead, pick my
Now,
brain.
there is a new organisation that is just started up called the British Bigfoot Sightings Reports, or UK Cryptids for short. And it is all what I have printed off here are basically all witness statements of people who have seen Bigfoots in the UK.
And Bigfoots aren't typical in the UK, right?
Well, we haven't got maybe up in Scotland, in the Highlands of Scotland, and maybe
Mm.
some parts of Wales. We haven't really got the area or the sort of dense forest that would support or would be able to hide. You know, you can go in and you can go into your mountain areas and go walk for days and weeks and months and not see another person, can't you?
Yes.
You know that can't really happen here. You could, if you're an experienced hiker, and you had enough gear with you, you could walk across the country in a couple of weeks, maybe, if you could keep a decent pace. But these Bigfoot sightings, Bigfoot has been spotted 10 miles from Bristol by 100% sure train passengers. So everybody on the train, Bristol is just a little bit further up, just before Wales, really, before you get into Wales. Saw this Bigfoot. It was just walking in a field. Just
Really?
walking along the, not even in the, being hidden by trees or anything like that. Just wandering around the field, not even bothered about the train. And
Really?
everybody on the train saw it, and there's been some sightings in. We have a place up in the northeast of England called Washington. And not your Washington. We have a
Yeah.
place Washington up in near Newcastle, and there is. I'm looking at a little picture now, and it's a Bigfoot. I wish I could show you. It's a Bigfoot, and it's in a load of trees, but it's there. And this is quite a built-up area.
Really?
Newcastle is a big sort of city, and it's not really got any sort of big forests or mountainous areas around it. Because there's Newcastle and Sunderland and all that east coast. It's pretty coastal, really. So it's not as though it's like in the middle of the country. But and there's even one been spotted in Salford, a bipedal creature. Salford is in Manchester. Now that's sort of why there's no bloody trees and built up areas in Salford. Sort of don't know
Right.
where. But
It's living in a flat somewhere.
it sounds like it might be.
I'm
Two
seeing.
boys. Sorry, go on.
I'm looking it up, and I see the one that the people on the train said they saw.
What do you think?
I think that's crazy. I think
Black,
that's really crazy.
Black Weir Pond, Epping Forest.
Yeah.
Two boys have a terrifying experience. Giant ape or Bigfoot We don't have these kind of animals running around the countryside. Police hunt a criminal chimp-like creature in Hackney, 2002. A big, huge chimp. There's absolutely loads of them, and I just wanted people to be aware, or maybe be aware is the wrong word. Do they know? Are they aware that there are this many Bigfoot sightings? Because it was really a shock to me, because I just thought it was in other parts of the world. And could there be could there be Bigfoots or creatures that look like Bigfoots, maybe giant apes, living in the United Kingdom?
Huh. Some of these pictures look like giant apes.
Yeah.
Which is no less terrifying. A giant ape wandering around is not human friendly. That is so strange. I wonder how they get away with being in such populated areas without trees.
I mean, the one in Salford's ridiculous. I mean, I can't even.
Do you have a picture of that?
Let me just check back on it. The Salford one. There's not actually a picture of the Bigfoot. There's just a picture of what looks like a park area.
Okay.
But it's when was this one?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just open.
But it's not. That's all surrounded by houses.
That's so
It's
strange.
I don't know. I hope you don't mind bringing that one up, Tracy.
No, of course not. That's very interesting.
It wasn't a specific case of. It was just a general view and a general sort of question to people. And do they know or have they heard anything? Because I would be really interested to find out in the comments if anybody has heard of any other stories or any other sightings of Bigfoot in the UK. I'm sure you would be as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Hold on, I'm gonna check the comments real fast. Hey, Mad Meerkat, have you heard of any Bigfoot sightings in the UK? Oh, he went and looked at the unknown creature that was shot in Colorado. Yeah, it is scary. I can't wait till we find out what that is. I hope they come back with werewolf.
I'm gonna wait before your daughter up.
if if I was allowed to create my own little world, we would have things like this because it would keep life a little more interesting. If every once in a while a werewolf popped up and
Ripped
fairies.
your throat out.
Well, they could be kind. They could be kind. They could be like, "Might I have a cigarette?" And then go back on their little way, or whatever. "Might I have some tea?" And then
Are you
go
taking the
back.
mickey?
Huh?
Are you taking the mickey about how I talk? Might I have some tea?
Might I have some tea?
Oh God, that was terrible.
I'll work on it.
Okay, that's a good idea.
You're always insulting me.
So
All right.
have we had any interesting comments?
Well, they've been talking about like the Wendigo and the Colorado thing, and so Meerkat has not told me yet if he's seen anything about Bigfoot in the UK. Okay, so if anybody has, do you have anything else you want to say, Rob?
That's everything. That's every cryptid that's ever lived in the UK.
Well, you guys don't have very many then. There's not enough room.
Totally correct.
You'd be overrun by cryptids.
Exactly.
Well, we have lots and lots and lots. I could have gone on for days about the amount of cryptids in the United States. There's a lot of people who see a lot of weird things. And nobody's seen anything as weird as that flying pterodactyl that was on my porch, though. That was a scary thing. All right, so if anybody has any comments or questions or another cryptid you would like to tell us about, Mad Meerkat says no Bigfoot sightings near me. Well, that's a bonus. Then you guys can go ahead and post that right now. While we're waiting, I'm going to say a couple of things. YouTube has a new algorithm which thrills everyone and strikes fear in the heart of all YouTube creators. Because of this, you will not be notified of my content if you do not ring that bell. It is our last hope that you will be notified of content, and even then, people I'm subscribed to, sometimes I don't get notified. But please, please, please be sure and click that bell. You're going to especially want to have that bell clicked next week and from then on, because we're going to do our podcasts on Twitch, and then they'll be uploaded on Facebook afterwards. But we would really love for you guys to come on over to Twitch so that you can comment. Eventually, when we get the hang of things, we're going to have a call-in feature so that you'll be able to call in and interact with us. And that will be really fun. And like I said, and for those of you who came in late or didn't hear at the beginning, our very first podcast on Twitch is going to have Rob and I and Jory and possibly Jeremy. At some point, it is going to have Jeremy. We're going to have a round table. We're going to have a discussion like we're sitting in my living room, and it's going to be about conspiracy theories. So that's going to be our first Twitch podcast. I'm really excited about this. We're going to do conspiracy theories ranging from flat Earth to
Lady Diana,
the Queen being a lizard, chemtrails, Area 51, UFOs, JFK, 9/11. If you can think of a conspiracy theory throughout the series. Now, this is not going to be an every week podcast. We're going to do our regular podcast about other subjects, but we are going to have podcasts peppered throughout that have to do with different conspiracy theories, and we're going to give us the amount of time so that we can dig in hard on some of these. And we're going to set a time limit, and if it goes too long, then what we'll do is break it up into 2 podcasts, and the next week we'll start on part 2. That is something I'm very excited about, and that I think will be a lot of fun if people want to call in and take part in the conversation. You can also leave messages just like you can here on the side of the Twitch forum. So there's going to be multiple ways for you guys to interact with us. The way to get there is twitch.tv /the exit light. And it's one word. So just the exit light. Go ahead and click follow. And then I'm going to put something up on YouTube when we are going to go live on Twitch so that you'll be notified here as well. And then I'm going to also put on my Facebook page and Rob's Facebook page when we're going to be doing the podcast. And I think it'll be the same time as we're doing this one, I hope. Maybe a little different. It kind of depends on Joy's schedule. And I think you guys are going to love it. I know we're going to love it. I know there's a lot of things and a lot of ideas we've come up with. So yeah, sure, we can do Mad Meerkat. We can do Jack the Ripper conspiracies. If you have particular conspiracies you want to hear about, go ahead and let me know.
Yeah.
Leave comments. You can leave comments in this. You can leave comments after this goes up on YouTube. Throw out ideas. We would love that. We want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. And also, I have a Patreon. Maya will put the link up to the Patreon. As always, that is not mandatory in any way. That is completely voluntary. And if you do volunteer to do something like that, it will be much appreciated. And as that, I think that is everything that I usually say. We're gonna Maya, can you please put up the link to Rob's Facebook group, which is Paranormal and Supernatural World, and
Yeah.
my Facebook group, which is Exit Light. Rob does such a great job of keeping up with all things weird, paranormal, and new scary movies that are coming up as well, which is awesome. I don't watch scary movies, but if you do, he's got the scoop on all that. And so check out his Facebook page because I think you'll really, really enjoy it. And if that is all, do you have anything that you would like to say, Rob?
I think it was really a good when you mentioned to people to get to leave in if they want us to cover any specific things in the conspiracy podcast, that they should put their ideas across, because the podcast is really theirs, isn't it?
Yeah,
Even
that's
though
right.
we're doing it.
Right.
So obviously, the more they can interact, the more they're going to get out of it.
Right.
I just think that's important for people to realize that, we want to know what they want, and we can, yeah.
That would be great. And then we can interact during the course of the podcast and get their comments and ideas. And like I said, eventually when we get everything ironed out, we'll be able to take calls, and that will be a lot of fun. So,
And if you've got any friends who are like-minded, who like this kind of thing, make sure to tell them and join us on the podcast.
right, because a lot of people are interested in conspiracy theories, and we are going to do some really great ones. So if you know people who are interested, and I'm going to come at it as this, I'm going to try and be devil's advocate for both sides of theories, and really trying to keep my opinion out of it. Like, I know I know that's gonna be very hard. I am a little bit opinionated, but I, Rob can come at it his way, Jory can come at it his way, Jeremy can come at it his way. We'll all come at it our own way, our own thoughts and opinions and views, and I think that is going to be really exciting. And then if we add all you guys who listen to the podcast, if we add your comments and thoughts in there, it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you know anybody who is interested in conspiracy theories, this is our first podcast over there is going to be fun.
So Tracy's going to be impartial.
I'm going to try.
I'm living in the Matrix, so that sort of gives you the idea where I'm coming from. So it should be fun.
It'll be fun. I'm gonna try and be impartial. I'm going to. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to Rob. I had a lot of
Sorry.
fun.
Thank
You
you.
made
Thank
me
you. Thank
laugh so
you.
hard, and I appreciate it. Thank you to moderator Maya for working so hard putting those links up, and for Jeremy getting those pictures up and everything he does behind the scenes that he deserves all the credit for. And we will see you next Wednesday. Put your tinfoil caps on because you're gonna need them, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. Good night.
Good night.